Hare Krishna. Welcome to the summary of chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Karma Sannyas Yoga, or transcendental knowledge. Before we dive in, let's first connect the dots between chapter 3 and chapter 4. In chapter 3, Krishna concluded by speaking about lust, the enemy that covers our knowledge. He also emphasized the importance of Nishkam Karma Yoga, performing a duty without attachment to the results. Krishna explained that when one works in this detached way, two important things happen. Number one, they progress from Sakam Karma Yoga, which is attached to results, to Nishkam Karma Yoga, which is detached from results. And number two, their intelligence becomes sharp and deliberate, enabling them to conquer lust. Such transcendental knowledge also elevates one from the mode of passion to the mode of goodness. In third chapter, verse 30, Krishna said, "Surrender all your work unto me with full knowledge of me." Naturally, Arjuna may wonder, with full knowledge of you, who will give me this knowledge? And here in chapter 4, Krishna answers, I will give you this transcendental knowledge, and I will tell you exactly how it is received through the proper channel. And that is why chapter 4 is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. It's all about how divine wisdom is passed down, how it transforms our life, and how it empowers us to act in freedom. When we talk about spiritual knowledge, the Sanskrit term often used is Shruti, that what is heard. In bygone ages, people would hear such knowledge, remember it, live it, and pass it on without distortion. Think about it, right? We have two eyes and one tongue, meaning we should look twice and speak once. We have two ears and one mouth, reminder to listen more and talk less. We have two hands and one stomach, work more than you consume. Even in our own body, the brain has two halves, but the heart is one. Think twice, but love once. Ears, in particular, are a gateway for transcendental knowledge. Krishna gave us two ears for a reason. In one ear, Krishna speaks softly, "Become Krishna conscious, return to me." And in the other ear, Maya loudly whispers, "Enjoy life, forget God." Krishna's voice is subtle, Maya's is loud. Which voice we choose to hear is always up to us. This chapter, titled Transcendental Knowledge, teaches us how to hear the divine voice clearly, how to connect with God through the ear rather than the eye. And this brings us to the acronym of chapter 4. Ears: eternal education, accurate understanding, removing reactions, sacrifice. Eternal education. The first part of the chapter 4 begins with Krishna explaining the Parampara, the disciplic succession through which this transcendental knowledge is passed down. Krishna says, I first spoke this transcendental knowledge to sun god Vivaswan. Now, Vivaswan is not just the sun planet, he's the person in charge of it. This means the Bhagavad Gita is ancient. Krishna spoke it to Vivaswan about 120 million years ago. Vivaswan then passed on to the father of mankind, Manu. Manu gave it to Ishwaku, the king from whose dynasty Lord Ram appeared. And from that point, the Gita has been known on earth for around 2 million years. and the version spoken to Arjuna was delivered about 5,000 years ago. Krishna tells Arjuna, now that knowledge is lost, I am giving it to you again. Why? Because Arjuna is both Krishna's friend and devotee. Bhakto si mein sakha cheti. The qualification required to truly understand the Gita is friend and a devotee. Hearing this, Arjuna has a valid question. How can you say you spoke to Vivaswan millions of years ago when you are standing right here with me? Krishna explains, both you and I have taken many births. You do not remember them, but I remember all. And then comes the verse 4.7, one of the most important in the entire Gita. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijanyamham. Whenever there is a decline in dharma and a rise in adharma, Krishna appears. And he gives three purposes of his descent. Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the devotees. Vinashaya chidushkritam, to destroy the miscreants. Dharma samsthapanadhaya, to re-establish dharma. And then Krishna assures, I appear millennium after millennium for this purpose. This is the foundation of eternal education, a divine truth preserved through time, spoken by Krishna himself, and passed down unchanged through the Parampara. Now we move to the second part of this accurate understanding. Most people know something about religion, something about God, but often that knowledge is hazy, confused, or influenced by misconceptions. In these verses, Krishna clears up three common misunderstandings and gives us the clarity we need. In verse 11, Krishna says, as all surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. This means Krishna meets everyone's according to their approach. For those who deny his existence, he comes as a law of dharma, quietly sitting in their hearts, noting every action, and delivering results accordingly. Even atheists cannot escape serving him. They simply end up serving his material energy, Maya, getting entangled in desires for wealth, luxuries, prestige, or relationships. On the other hand, who turn their minds away from the worldly attractions and see Krishna as their ultimate refuge, are cared for like a mother caring for their child, a mother caring for her child. Verse 12. Here Krishna addresses the misconception that worshipping celestial gods is same as worshipping him. People with material desires often worship demigods. And yes, those demigods can grant boons, but only by the power Krishna has given them. Their blessings are temporary, tied to material life. The wise see no point in going to an intermediary. They go directly to the source, Krishna himself. And verse number 13, Krishna then speaks about Chaturvarna, the four natural divisions of society: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, based not on birth but on qualities and work. When a person performs their duties in line with these qualities, they become purified. And Krishna makes it clear, I have created this system, but I am unaffected by it. So, through these verses, Krishna sweeps away the confusion and helps us see reality as it is. That's what accurate understanding is all about. In this section, Krishna takes us deeper into the intricacies of karma. He points out that karma is not just about avoiding bad deeds. Even good karma, if motivated by selfish desires, can bind us to the cycle of birth and death. Beyond good and bad lies a higher plane, a karma, action performed on a spiritual level, which yields no reaction and frees us from material entanglement. Krishna described three categories: action, inaction, and forbidden action, and explains how difficult it is to truly understand their subtleties. Then he introduces the qualities of a true Nishkam Karma yogi, the one who works without attachment to the results, satisfied and independent, not driven by material gain, free from false sense of ownership, perfectly self-controlled in mind and intelligence, free from envy and duality. Such a person, firmly situated in transcendental knowledge, merges into the spiritual reality and attains perfection. And just as we think and we start to think, how do we perform such work? Krishna introduces the concept of yajña, the principle of selfless offering, setting the stage for our next section of this chapter. Yajna, or sacrifice. Here Krishna speaks about sacrifice, a key pathway to transcendental knowledge. He lists different types of sacrifice. Dravya yajna, sacrificing one's possessions for a higher cause. Tapo yajna, performing severe austerities to purify the self. Yajna, practicing the Eightfold Mysticism to connect with the divine. Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna, studying the Vedas and spiritual scriptures to cultivate wisdom. The purpose of all sacrifice, Krishna explains, is the development of jnana, spiritual knowledge. Through sincere sacrifice, sins are destroyed and one rises to the spiritual realm. But is there an easy way to attain this knowledge? Krishna answers in shloka number 34, one of the most important verses of all seekers. Tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya updekshanti te jnanam jnani nastatva darshanaha. Approach a self-realized soul with humility, inquire submissively, and render service seva. Such an enlightened being can impart knowledge, for they have seen the truth. Krishna is clear. To truly gain this knowledge, we must relinquish our pride, approach a Tattvadarshi, the one who has realized the truth, with faith and humility, and serve them with sincerity. When one gains transcendental knowledge, amazing transformations occur. Even the most sinful person can cross the ocean of miseries. All karmic reaction burn to ashes. There is nothing as pure and sublime as this knowledge. But there's a condition: faith. The faithful attain wisdom. The faithless fall into ignorance and find neither peace nor happiness in this world or the next. Krishna concludes that by telling Arjuna, a person who acts in devotional service, gives up the fruits of action, destroys all doubts, becomes self-realized, and is no longer bound by karma. And so, Krishna calls to Arjuna is powerful: stand up and fight. And the essence is clear. In this age of Kali, the most effective yajna is chanting the holy name. Let's do this together. Let's join me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Before we close chapter 4, let's take a quick look at one of the most important starting points: Parampara, the disciplic succession. Krishna begins this chapter by telling Arjuna that the knowledge he's about to share is eternal. It was first spoken by him to the sun god Vivaswan, then passed into Manu, the father of mankind, then to King Ishwaku. And from there, it continued through saintly kings, Raj Rishis. And over time, however, this chain was broken and the knowledge was lost. To re-establish it, Krishna direct, speaks directly to Arjuna, not just because Arjuna is his friend, but Arjuna is also his devotee, and thus qualified to receive and transmit this knowledge. The lesson for us is clear. Spiritual knowledge must be received through a proper channel, the disciplic succession, to preserve its purity. Just like pure water flows through the clean pipe, transcendental wisdom flows without contamination when passed from guru to disciple with devotion and faith. By understanding and respecting Parampara, we protect the integrity of the Bhagavad Gita teachings and ensure they benefit future generations. Well, in this chapter, Krishna reveals the eternal science of yoga passed down through the disciplic succession. He explains how a true action is free from reaction when performed in the spirit of sacrifice and devotion. By approaching a bona fide guru with humility, service, and in sincere inquiry, one can receive transcendental knowledge, a knowledge so pure and sublime that it destroys ignorance, burns away all karmic reactions, and frees one from the cycle of birth and death. Krishna urges Arjuna that all of us to act in our prescribed duties with detachment, guided by wisdom, and to protect our lives through devotion. And in this age of Kali, the most simplest and most effective yajna is chanting the holy names of the Lord. In the next chapter, chapter number 5, Karam Sannyasa Yoga, Krishna will address Arjuna's lingering question: is renunciation better, or is action in devotion superior? He will reveal how the highest peace comes not from abandoning action, but from acting in full knowledge and surrender. That's it for me. Hare Krishna.